Hello there everyone, it's me. Before we start on this one, I just want to say a big thank you. Wasn't expecting the response that I got about the negative comment. It's really not bothered me. I actually deleted the comment anyway. You know, you're not going to please everybody all of the time, are you? You know, you don't like everyone in life that you meet, and I think that I've got quite a specific personality, so I know that I'm not going to appeal to a lot of people, but I'll appeal to some. You know, it's just the way life goes, isn't it? But thank you very much for the comments and the support. It was very much appreciated. Right, let's get down to business. We'll forget that now, all right? Moving forward. They're gone, don't matter. Moving forward, this is what we're on with today on the 30-day challenge. And it's known as a waterfall. All right, there's loads of tutorials out there on waterfalls, so if you want more information about waterfalls and the different variations there are of it, then please search on YouTube and go and have a look and see which one suits you best. I'm just going to show you this one. It's a real quick, easy, simple one to do, and it's just got this banner down the centre of it to hold it all in place, and I've magnetised it at the bottom. All right, so that flips up, which reveals then the waterfall. And what you do then is you then flip each one of these. Just move it down a touch. I mean, there's nothing to see on the back of mine, but you can just flip each one of these up, and then there should actually be another one here as well. But I didn't get around to doing that bit. And what you can do is you can put photographs on here, and then you could write about that photograph on the back of this card here. All right, but as I say, mine's just held down with this little strap, and it's magnetized at the bottom. Now, as I say, it's very, very easy to do, so I am actually going to do it for you. Now, I'm using green card because I want this to go in my calico collage one, which is obviously all about vegetables and gardening and stuff. So what we actually need is 4" by 4.5" pieces. And the best way to do it is to cut it lengthways first. So I'm doing that up to 4 inches. I'm cutting. And if you see the flashes every so often and a rumbling sound, we're having a thunderstorm at the minute. Yay! Because it's been really hot weather for quite a few weeks now, and we're finally getting some rain, but we've got a thunderstorm with it. I love a thunderstorm. I would normally not be sat here doing this. Oh, that was a big one. I'd be sat at the window watching it. But I'm doing this for you instead. See, loyal and dedicated. Right, so 4 inches wide, I've trimmed down, and I've got 2 strips out of my sheet of A4 card. It needs to be quite firm. The paper's not really strong enough, especially because we're going to be adding pictures and that to it. So you need something that's got a little bit of weight behind it. So from a 160 GSM upwards will do you. This one is about... This is about a 300 GSM, but it was the right shade of green to go with what I wanted. So, as I say, 2 strips, 4 inches wide. I'm now cutting them to 4.5 inches long. So I'm going to get 2 pieces out of 1 strip, because that totals 9 inches. See, I did do maths at school. I did take some note. And 4.5 inches there, and oh, another flash. There'll be a bit of thunder in a minute. 4.5 inches there. Do you remember when you used to do that counting between each flash of lightning and the thunder to see how many miles away it was? Right, so I'm on to my second piece of card now, and again I want another 4-inch strip. But this time, instead of cutting it 4.5 inches long, I'm doing it 4 inches. So it's a 4-inch square. And then from the long strip that's left over, I'm cutting a 1 inch wide strip. Okay. Next is the scorer pal. So let's just go through what we've got. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces that measure 4 inches by 4.5, and I've got 1 piece that measures 4 by 4, and I've also got a 1 inch wide strip. At this moment in time, it doesn't matter about the length. I'll explain about the length in a bit. So the strip we don't need to do anything with. The 4 inch square we don't need to do anything with. But the ones that measure 4.5 inches by 4 we do need to do something with. So let me move that down a little bit so you can see. So along the 4.5 inch side, so this is the 4 inch bit here, and that's the 4.5 inch bit, we're gonna do a half, oh, do you know, that is so brummy. We are going to do a 1/2 inch, so from the 1/2 inch mark down to the 4, I am going to do a crease. You can flip it over and do the same on the other side, because basically what we're doing when we're scoring it is we're stretching the fibres of the card or the paper so that it can bend a lot easier. Alright, so that's that one done. Next, 4 inches again, flip it over, that's that one, number 3, if I was starting over again and was looking at what I was going to invest my money in, one would be a good paper trimmer. And I think to start with, the likes of the Fiskars is good. I'm kind of contemplating getting a guillotine type one because the blades are so expensive to keep replacing. And the other would be my score pal, because doing the score lines when you haven't got a score pal, it's actually quite fiddly. Right, so we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 that have all been scored with a 1/2 inch little border at the top up here. And now I'm going to fold those over. Now then, let me just get a piece of paper. Bear with me a sec. So you can see what it is that I'm doing, because on the dark brown underneath you can't see it very well. Okay, so what we would do is we would put the 4 inch one down. Just go with me for now. This little flappy bit, that little flappy bit there, the edge of that is going to butt up to the top edge of this. If I do it like that, alright, so can you see that butts up to there, and then that will fold over on top. So then we've got, if I put that under there, can you see that there's a step from one piece to the next? Then you do the same with the next piece. And the next piece. So all you're doing is you're butting the edge of the card up to the previous piece of card. Okay, so now that's the overall length. Where's my ruler gone? Where's my ruler gone? Okay, so the overall length of that now, inches, Carol, is approximately 6 inches. So now I can work out whereabouts on my page I need that to go. So I can work out that if my page is 8 inches long, let's just say 8 inches long, and this is 6 inches. I know I've got 2 inches spare, so I could have an inch above and an inch below, and then I know that that's sort of centralised on the page. All right. I also can then work out how long I then want this strip to be to go over the top. So what I would actually do is I would put that on the score pal, but I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to bend it over. Oh, it's raining now. So I've just done a little fold over at the top there, and that will sit underneath this top piece, so that will slot underneath there. All right, and then that will sit over the top of them. Now let me just get my page. Where's it gone? There it is. I've so many of these on the go. It's difficult to find which one I'm working on. No, that was it. It was with the banners, Carol. Okay. So, just to reiterate again, this strip, what I would actually do is I'm going to put a border punch on each side of this strip to make it decorative. And then I would flip that. See if I can do it so you can see better. So can you see this lip here on this piece of card? That is going to flip over the top, and it will stick on. It will stick on the back of the flap. I need to trim it down so that it's the same depth. Right, and you need to make sure that it's central. Now I'm not going to stick this down because obviously I need to do my border punching and stuff. So what you could do is, as I say, if this is 8 inches long and we've decided an inch at the bottom and an inch at the top, you can just put a little pencil line at the 1 inch mark, and then you know that that's where the 4x4 is going to sit. And then you would place glue on the back of this strip bit here that's folded over. Let me put them down. And then that would sit on there. Make sure that it's butt up to the edge, and make sure that it's lined up on each side as well, so that when you flip that down, I don't know whether you'll be able to see that, but can you see that skew-if? So you need to make sure that it's butt up down each of the sides so that it's all in line with each other. And then you would stick the next one down by placing glue on the back and then attaching it there, and then you would stick the next one down, and then the last one that you're going to stick down will have that strip attached to it. And as I say, you need to make sure that it's in the center, and then you would stick that down. All right, you see that? Now then, because that strip is much longer than I need, what I can now work out is that my magnet needs to be round about here, but on the page. So I would stick a magnet on the page, and then I did a punched flower and put the punched flower on top. I then put the next magnet on, put some glue on the top of that, and then sat that down. And then when I lifted it up, I could see whereabouts the magnet needs to be on this side, and then I can attach the magnet to that bit. I can then trim off the excess card. I then stuck a nice decorative flower on the bottom of that. So then that strip will then hold all of these flaps in place. And then you lift that up to release the fact that these can then flip up. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the original version so that you can see it again. Alright, so you can see there's the flower there. I've done border punching on the edge, and then that lifts up, and then there's the magnet there on the back, and I've put a little bit of the micropore tape over the top of it. It's glued in place, but the micropore just helps to hold it in place as well. You could put a little decorative flower on the back of that if you don't want the magnet to shy. Then there's this little flower here which hides the other magnet. Now there's no reason why, instead of using this bit of card and the magnets, is why you can't use ribbon. And what you would do is you would attach the ribbon on the back of this top one, just in the same way as I've done with this, and then you would attach ribbon to you know, the 4x4 piece of card, attach ribbon to the underside of that, so that when you then stick that in place, you have a piece of ribbon coming out the bottom here, or lace, and then you would have your piece of ribbon from the top here, and you would tie those two pieces together. So pretty much in a similar fashion to how you've attached the ribbon on this one, on the flippy flappy thingy, but I couldn't think of a name to give it. So yeah, official title, flippy flappy thingy. So then you would choose your images. So you could use the images from the magazine, or you could use photographs. On mine, I did the inverted corner punches here to give the effect of it being a photograph that's slotted in. You could put the photo corners on there and then leave that blank, so then whoever gets the journal, if you're giving it away, they can then slot their own photographs in place. You could do the you know, the corrugated card lines that we talked about at the beginning. Then you could put your corrugated card lines on the back of here. You could also add a mat, so some decorative paper, and put that on the back here. You could cut a thin strip of decorative paper to put on these little strip bits, which are the little folded flat bits, and decorate those up as well. You could doodle if you're into doodling. Do a bit of doodling. Love that word, doodle. Doing a bit of doodling. So really, how you decorate these flaps is entirely up to you. Okay, and that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Right, have fun, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.